What's up, everybody, and welcome to the SGN podcast. I'm your host, Diego Call, bringing you some more E3 coverage. And this episode is going to be all about the Bethesda press conference, which, much like the rest of the conferences so far, was pretty underwhelming. There was a lot that I was hoping to see, and a lot that they actually didn't bring out, and even didn't really even mention whatsoever. So I was pretty disappointed, but without further ado, let's just go ahead and talk about it. Now, first of all, Peter Hines came out and him and Todd Howard, they kind of mentioned a few things about how Fallout 76 was a disaster. They apologized. They did talk about how the criticism they received was completely 100% warranted, and they, give them credit where credit is due. They did apologize. They then proceeded to kind of brag about how it was still like their best year ever in terms of player base, how Fallout 76 is somehow still full of players, and how the game is improving vastly, which I believe that. I believe that. Like, I honestly, guys, when the game came out, I was in the U.S. I was visiting family there, and my collector's edition got here in Italy when I was there, and by the time I got back, I had already heard about how much of a disaster the game was, and I was very disappointed by the contents of the extremely expensive collector's edition that I bought, so that pissed me off pretty badly. And yeah, but I played the game for an hour or two, and I wasn't even that sad about how it was. Like, the game, it wasn't fast-paced, but I don't necessarily expect a game like that to be fast-paced at the very beginning. So it was more or less what I expected in terms of the early game. But I just kind of never got back into ever touching it again. Like, it's been sitting in its case, ever since November, and I never got back to it because, of course, Red Dead was out, and I played the hell out of that. Played like 100 hours of that. Played a bunch of FIFA because I'm a dumbass who plays FIFA. And just played a bunch of other stuff. So I never got back to it. And now that it's getting better, then I probably will jump into it here very, very soon, just to kind of at least get my money's worth of it, at least partially. And then, of course, they announced the big news, which is that they're going to be bringing in, drumroll please, fucking Battle Royale. So, whoop-de-doo there. I mean, I'm not interested in that whatsoever, especially because, they could have been putting the resources they used to develop that piece of shit into developing the fixes that were necessary for the game. But apart from that garbage piece of news, they did announce something that we were definitely hoping and expecting ever since the game launched, which was actual NPCs that give you quests, and they're human NPCs with dialogue trees and all that stuff, which was kind of funny to hear them talking about, like, we're bringing in dialogue trees. It's like, wow, in a Bethesda game, there's going to be dialogue trees, like something that you expect since, like, in the early 2000s. So, I mean, congratulations, you went back to not being garbage, at least in terms of story, or at least allegedly. They're taking steps in the right direction, so congratulations there. You went back to how you were. Yeah, I mean, it's positive. Like, I don't mean to be too negative, but I think that we all kind of know how much fuckery went into Fallout 76 and how many lies there were, and you can't really go past that. You have to be hard as hell when it comes to judging them, and you have to make sure you keep them under scrutiny, because they fooled you once. There's no reason to believe that they wouldn't do it again. So we'll see. I do look forward to it. I think the patch has already come out. I'm installing a update as we speak. I don't know whether or not that's going to be, that this update's going to contain, I don't remember if they mentioned that or not, if it's already going to contain NPCs as of right now, or if that's going to come with Nuclear Winter, which is the next big thing. Hell, for all I know, this could be the Nuclear Winter update, because I honestly, guys, like, I'm just so disappointed with that game that I haven't really gone into it, so I didn't pay too much attention to it. Regardless, I love Fallout, and I hope this game is getting better, and that I hope that it does eventually get to the game that we all want to see. Like, people talk about how shit Elder Scrolls Online was, and I never played it at launch. I haven't ever played it, but I mean, it's apparently a really, really good game now. So if they can do something like that to Fallout 76, to where they can make something trash, make it, and actually turn it into, they can take something trash, and make it into something worth playing, then I won't be mad about that. I'll be happy, and I'll give them credit where credit is due. Unfortunately, though, you have to understand, these companies have to understand, it's not acceptable to launch a game that is completely broken. They have to have these games working, running well. Yes, there can be some bugs, but they have to be working and at least running well. They don't necessarily have great stories, which of course would be appreciated, but they just at least have to be functioning. They at least have to be running as well as possible. So, Bethesda needs to learn, because they traditionally have these very broken games at launch, but nothing like Fallout 76. So it was a new low. I haven't heard anything about Rage 2. Like, they talked about it at the conference, but I haven't seen anything about Rage 2. Nobody's been talking about it, so I'm assuming that game is pretty mediocre as well. And I think that's just kind of a downward spiral for Bethesda, especially because the next thing they talked about was a mobile game, Elder Scrolls Blades. Like, I don't know about you guys listening. Apparently, there is this huge mobile game population out there, and I haven't met a single person. I don't know a single person remotely. That's my cat making a bunch of noise over there, being a dumbass with a box, but he is the cat and the box. Sorry about that. Regardless, there's apparently this huge mobile game population, but I've never encountered a single mobile game player. So, I don't know. I guess I'll just take their words for it, but regardless, they gave a bunch of time to Elder Scrolls Blades, and how it's going to switch, and there's going to be, like, you can make your own town. You can show your town to other friends, and there's going to be, like, PvP and a bunch of other bullshit that makes absolutely no impact for me. And the people that I have heard talk about, people that I have listened to, like Angry Joe, and not really Angry Joe directly, because he's actually never played it either, but some of the people on his live reaction, they were talking about the same thing. Like, that game, it's got tons of paywalls. Like, it's pay to win, essentially. So, and if you want to move forward, you have to pay. So that game has zero interest to me, and I really, really am sick of this, because all these major franchises now are all introducing mobile games to the series, and it really does take the soul away from them. Like, you look at Mortal Kombat, for example. All right, I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. It's my favorite series, basically. Definitely my favorite fighting game series, 100%. And you look at what they did with the Challenge Towers, or not the Challenge Towers, the Towers of Time. They added a shit ton of consumables that are very reminiscent of the Mortal Kombat mobile game. Which, by the way, I deleted after like an hour because I fucking hate those types of games. So, seeing little elements from mobile games, sneaking into our AAA titles, putting in paywalls, adding these little things to make you grind harder and try to make you spend money with microtransactions, it's sickening. And to take a game like the Elder Scrolls series and adding in paywalls to a game that's part of that series, it's disgusting. It truly is disgusting, and I refuse to play any of these games, and I sincerely hope that this stuff fails, because I don't want to see them creeping in to the game series that we love. Imagine if something like that creeps into a GTA game, which of course already has, its online components, but say what you will about that. GTA Online is phenomenal. Red Dead Online, it's kind of a steaming piece of shit, but the game itself, the storyline, all that stuff. Imagine if there were pay-to-win elements. Imagine if there were microtransactions and stuff like that. That would be sickening. And I don't want more of these series to start introducing this type of stuff. And Blades represents, basically how garbage this type of stuff is. Then they introduced a new IP, which is made by one of their Japanese companies. I can't remember exactly what company it is, but regardless, they introduced a new IP called Ghostwire Tokyo, which looks kind of interesting. It's not. I'm not a fan of Japanese mythology. I'm not really a fan of the Japanese style of gaming either. There's really no Japanese developed games that are my cup of tea, to be completely honest with you guys. So it's not something I'm looking into in terms of buying, but I mean, it looks kind of like it's an interesting it's interesting on paper. It looks like it might look interesting as well. Essentially, it's like you're in Tokyo and all of a sudden this paranormal, I don't know, disaster happens, and like people start turning to dust, much like Thanos did to half the population of the universe in Infinity War. So, I mean, it looks kind of interesting, but it's not necessarily something that I'm going to be particularly looking at buying. So, I mean, that was another thing that it was only footage. There was no gameplay footage. There was no, like actual details of what we're going to be actually playing. It was just cinematics. So, very disappointing. That's something I do want to mention is the fact that so far, like I said, Fallout 76 they didn't show any gameplay, they just showed cinematics, and same thing with actually they did they kind of showed some gameplay-esque clips when it comes to the whole Battle Royale mode, but I don't know how much to really take that into consideration. And by the way, that's only going to be a 52-player thing, so that's kind of fishy. That's very, very strange. But regardless, it's going to be you can try it out from the 10th to the 17th of June, so I guess that kind of shows that is coming. That is probably the new update. Regardless, talking about this whole Ghostwire Tokyo, not my cup of tea, but I'm sure that it's going to be good for some people out there if it lives up to the hype that people seem to be placing on it. And then they talked about the whole new Elsewhere, whatever, however you pronounce it, the new expansion for Elder Scrolls Online, which introduces dragons. And the cinematic they showed for it was very, very good, but once again, there was no gameplay shown. It's coming, I think, later this year, but I think you can actually try it out like right now, maybe. No, it's coming at the end of 2019. Okay, so it's officially going to drop at the end of 2019. I think there might be a trial or something like that at E3. But regardless, like Elder Scrolls Online isn't something I've been playing. I've never played it before. My brother tried it out for a little bit, like an hour or something like that, and deleted it. So I don't know. I kind of trust his judgment, but at the same time, I don't. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I might download it. It's free on Game Pass, but I think you have to actually pay for the expansion. So probably won't go into that. Then they announced a new Commander Keen game, which of course is going to be a mobile game. I have zero interest in Commander Keen. Never played it before. It looks like it's fucking garbage for my tastes, and they can keep it. They can stick it up their ass, to be completely honest with you guys. Then they showed a new expansion for Rage 2, which, like I said, nobody's even talking about Rage 2, so I don't know. Like, this doesn't interest me whatsoever. They just showed like new vehicles. They showed like a couple new weapons or something like that. So I don't know, nothing. Or maybe I think they showed a new. Yeah, they showed like a new faction as well. But I don't know. Like, whatever, it is what it is. Nothing special there. Once again, just cinematics, no gameplay footage. Then they talked about 2 new upcoming Wolfenstein games, which I'm actually about to start playing in the next couple of days. The new Colossus, and then the new, what is it called? The first one, the New Order and the Old Colossus, or the Old Order and the New Colossus, something like that. So, I look forward to playing those. I've heard that they're fun to play, but then their story is just garbage at the very end. Like, there's a huge build up, and then the story is a huge letdown. So we'll see. But I've owned those since they both dropped, and I wanna play them. So I will be playing those shortly. But like Youngblood and all this stuff, I mean, I don't know. The Youngblood is apparently like 20 years after Wolfenstein: The New Colossus. So I don't know. Like, I might pick it up after I play those 2, depending on how much I like them. But I don't know. It's it is what it is. Like, it's I don't know how to judge it, because, like I said, it's like it's a small expansion over what we've already got. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. I mean, whether I pick it up or not, but not very interesting, to be completely honest with you guys. Then they showed Deathloop, which is a new IP by Arcane Studios, and essentially this is 100% yet again 100% a cinematic view of the game, and it's essentially got 2 characters. One is an African American guy, as they mentioned in this article that I'm basically looking at, which doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't matter if that's right. There were 2 African American characters, which I don't really know why this is mentioned in this article. To be honest, it's an Italian one, which kind of goes to show you where you're like, oh wow, there's black people in a game. So that kind of shows you how advanced Italy's culture is. But okay, it was definitely necessary to mention the fact they were black. But all right, whatever. Moving on. There's 2 characters that essentially are both stuck in a loop, and the only way to allegedly fix it is to kill each other. So this game looks stupid. This game looks trash. I'm not interested in any way whatsoever. Whatever. And they mentioned Orion, which is apparently, if this actually works the way it should be, it is a new kind of a streaming service, but it's made by ID Software, and this is kind of hard for me to explain because I'm not good at this stuff. It's like a new type of cloud, much like the X Cloud that Microsoft is developing, but it's not going to be about a console or stuff like that. It's going to be about game development and stuff like that, which is essentially going to allegedly make it insanely, just way faster than anything that we've ever seen before in terms of being able to develop games and stream them fast. It's hard for me to explain because I don't know much about the technical side of this stuff. So I definitely recommend you check at least this portion of it out. I'm sure you can find it somewhere. Apparently it's supposed to help out Stadia quite a bit. But apparently, thanks to this, Doom 2016, which is a very, very, high powered game, heavy game, is running perfectly on a smartphone, which is developed specifically for gaming. So take that into consideration. This is a gaming smartphone. And yeah, it's running very, very well. So I guess that's pretty cool. I don't know what implications that have. That seems like that could have very, very big implications on development of future games. So if this does work the way that it is apparently talking about, then that's pretty interesting. We'll see how that goes. And then they close the show with Doom Eternal. Now I'm not gonna lie to you guys. All right, I'm not gonna finesse you guys into thinking that I'm a Doom fan. I have had Doom 2016 for 4 years now. Well, not 4 years, 3 years. Basically 6 months since the game came out. I have tried to play that game 4 times. Not like I've turned the game on 4 times. And I started the game, played a couple chapters, couldn't get into it. A few months later, I tried it again, did a few chapters, couldn't get into it. Did the same thing again, I just couldn't get into it. I want to play this game and I like it because everybody likes it, and I just don't understand it. I don't understand what it is that I don't like about it, because I'm a huge fan of FPSs. I'm a huge fan of fast gameplay. I'm a huge fan of intense music in video games, but for some reason, I just can't get into Doom 2016. And Doom Eternal looks really good. It looks just like Doom 2016. And Doom 2016 is a game that when I look at people playing, I'm like, damn, that looks like fucking fun. But when I play it, I don't have fun. So I'm going to go ahead and give this game one more chance. If I don't like it, it is what it is. But I'm going to go ahead and give it one more fair chance. Probably in the next few days. I want to finish this game. At the very least, I want to finish it because I'm one of those guys who, when I start something, I have a hard time not finishing it when it comes to video games. When it comes to other stuff, unfortunately, when it comes to work or videos or podcasting, I'm lazy as shit. But when it comes to video games, I tend to be a completionist. So I will give it a shot. I will give it my absolute best shot at finishing it. And I guess I'll kind of let you guys know whether I am able to finish it or not. But regardless, Doom Eternal looks very, very good. I like the idea of them, like they mentioned, this isn't just going to be a Doom world when it comes to hell. This is going to be an entire Doom universe based with heaven, with Earth itself, it looks like, and of course, hell. So it looks very, very good. It looks interesting, and it looks insanely fun. I just don't know if it's going to be for me, because unfortunately Doom 2016 hasn't really been that so far. So if you're a Doom fan, which 99% of the gaming fucking universe is, then I'm sure you're extremely excited about that. I'm sure you are. But for me, it's just another one of those meh moments. So realistically, the only moments of the Bethesda presentation that was any, I'm not even gonna say it was any good, but was okay, was them essentially apologizing for Fallout 76 being a complete disaster. So this, in my opinion, was actually the worst conference I've seen so far. Now, taking into consideration, I haven't seen Nintendo, I haven't seen EA, and I haven't seen Square Enix yet. I've only seen the Avengers portion of Square Enix. So I will give my full classification, I guess you could say, my full damn, I can't even think of the word right now. Fuck me, dude. I will, put them in order of worst to best once it all comes out, and once I've seen them all. And I will give you guys a breakdown of what my most anticipated games are, what I thought hit the high notes the best, and what was the most trash moments of all these presentations. Just Dance 2020, by the way, or whatever it's called, 20th anniversary. That's up there, or 10th anniversary. I can't even remember what the fuck that was, because as soon as that thing popped on, I fucking skipped forward. That was definitely going to be one of the top moments of trash. But regardless, like this was a very, very poor presentation. I gave Microsoft presentation a 7, and so far I think it's the best one I've seen, which is saying a lot. I gave Ubisoft's presentation a 6. I'm sure you've probably already seen that if you're listening to this. But regardless, I'm sorry for spoiling it if you didn't want any spoilers. And I'm gonna have to give this one worse. I think I'm gonna have to give this one a 4 because there was literally nothing interesting shown, nothing that makes me get out of my seat and makes me really interested in any of these games. Maybe Fallout 76, just because they are introducing NPCs, they are introducing extra story. So I will probably put myself into that game and give it a shot. But there's really nothing for me there to really excite me. Battle Royale doesn't mean anything to me. Doom doesn't mean anything to me. Elder Scrolls Blades, a fucking mobile game, means nothing to me. That other Commander Keen mobile game, whatever the hell it's called, means nothing to me. So yeah, I was hoping to see something about Elder Scrolls 6. I was hoping to at least see something about what's it called? Star. Damn, the new Starfield. I was hoping to see something about Starfield, but nothing of the sorts. So very, very disappointing for me. And yeah, Bethesda, you fucked it up. But yeah, we love you regardless, and thank you for showing all the like Bethesda fans that were celebrating the company and stuff like that. So yeah, you shit the bed, Bethesda, but whatever. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of this conference, and which ones so far you think were the best, and what I guess in general, like what was your favorite moment from the Bethesda conference, and what was your least favorite moments, and yeah, let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below, and check us out on social media and also on all the podcast apps, because I am going to be adding this stuff tonight. If all things go correctly, I will be adding it tonight or tomorrow. I don't know how long the process is, but it will be going up on podcast app very, very soon. So check that out, because that's my favorite way to listen to podcasts, and I'm sure you guys are more interested in listening to that instead of watching this stuff on YouTube. So thank you so much, guys, for listening to this episode, and I'll see you in the next one, which will be, I think it's going to be EA. I'm going to be talking about EA, then Square Enix, and then I guess Nintendo, even though I don't like Nintendo in any way whatsoever. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.